So on today's frequently asked questions, we're going over how to build more muscle mass. So last time we were talking about how to pick your best exercises, and it really came down to your training loads. Then people were like, well, if I want to build more muscle mass, what do I have to do? What's that training look like? And so decided to just kind of break it down. We're going to go over the training and the nutrition of building more muscle mass. Yes, recovery is very, very important, and we could spend hours and hours going over all the literature and all the data on that. But the basics of building muscle mass, training, nutrition, if you don't do those two right, the recovery portion doesn't really matter because you're still not going to get the adaptation you're looking for. So for the training, you want to pick the muscles that you want to load, the muscles that you're trying to grow more mass at. Typically, you're thinking shoulders, arms, chest, back, and all the legs. Then you're going to go and figure out what's your training age. If you're like a 0 or 1 year that you've been lifting, you're a beginner. If you're more of an advanced and you've been training 5, 10, 15 years, you're more of an advanced lifter. And so a beginner is going to want to get 10 sets in a weekend, where a more advanced lifter is going to look for 20 to 25 sets. And these are good quality working sets. We're not talking your warm-up sets where you're going light, just getting into the form. It's 10 solid sets in a week, stimulating that muscle. Then you're going to be doing 8 to 30 reps in a set, anywhere between 30 and 80% of your 1 rep max. And you're going to be doing each set up into a point of almost failure where you have 2 to 4 reps in reserve. A rep in reserve means you're doing it, you haven't hit complete failure where you're like, I can't do any more, and you drop the weight. You're like, it's getting hard, it's getting difficult, I might be able to do 2 more. That's your last rep. You're going to take a 30 to 240 second break and hit it again. The idea of training to build muscle is volume. It's about volume. You got to do the volume. 20 sets is a lot. 25 sets is a lot of sets on each muscle group. Usually it's best to split it among 2 different training sessions. So say I'm going to train my chest on Monday, I'm going to train it again on Thursday. 2 is usually a little easier, especially when you're talking 25 sets in a week. So that's the basics of training. It's volume. Reps to almost failure, 2 to 4 sets, 2 to 4 reps in reserve. Do the volume. Do the volume. So then nutrition. How do I eat? So the first thing you have to do is you have to have a calorie surplus. Usually 10 to 15%. If you're eating 2,000 calories in a day, you're going up 200 or so calories. Not that hard. But the idea is most people go way too high. They're like, I'm trying to build muscle, I'm bulking. A lot of people say, I'm bulking, I'm trying to put on mass. And they just eat and eat, and it's their excuse to go hog wild. Well, yes, they'll build muscle mass, but they also put on a disproportionate amount of body fat. This 10 to 15% surplus is optimal for us to put on muscle mass and put on the least amount of body fat. That way you're not going to have to cut all this body fat off. So then you can break down your macronutrients. We want 4 to 7 grams per kilogram of body weight of carbs, 1 gram per kilogram of body weight of fat, 2 to 4 grams per kilogram of body weight of protein. Now with your protein, you want complete sources. A complete source of protein means it has all 9 essential amino acids. These are the amino acids in your body that you can't make. You have to get them from an outside source. So yes, unfortunately, most of the complete sources are animal-based, but not all. So for you vegans and vegetarians, you can eat whatever diet you like. Just make sure you're counting all the grams of your essential amino acids, those 9, and make sure that you're not in a deficit of one of them, because there are issues if you're not getting all 9 essential. So get your 9 essential amino acids in. Get your grams of protein in. Usually it's best to split your calories among 3 meals. Yes, there's some literature where people are starting to look at fasting and time-restricted feeding, but a lot of that data isn't quite clear, especially in the realm of how does it relate to building muscle mass. So 3 meals a day is still kind of the gold standard. And there's just your basics of building muscle mass. Yes, there's a lot of rabbit holes you can get into, but if you follow those rules, you get the calories, you train that right way, you're going to get the results you want.